Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Shortly after February 7th, when a neo-Nazi group waving swastika flags and shouting racial slurs demonstrated on an overpass on the edge of the majority black neighborhood, Lincoln Heights, members of the community armed themselves and took to the streets to protect their community from those uncivilized mutts. I ain't got no problem with that, but some of y'all do, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about who got a problem with it. Anybody who have a problem with a community defending themselves against enemies, foreign or domestic, are part of the problem. I'll tell you somebody else who's part of the problem. The police department, because they did nothing. In fact, members of the community was told that if they break in your house, they haven't hurt anybody, they haven't done anything, no harm, no foul. If they do it again, give us a call. Family, they did nothing to protect the people. They didn't take down any names, they didn't issue a citation, they didn't even wag their finger in their face and say, get out of here. Now, fam, they're rocking with it. Now, first and foremost, salute to all those who are involved in protecting the neighborhood. Salute to the community for standing your ground, standing up. But just know that this ain't a one-time thing. These uncivilized mutts, they come around until they get put down. That's how that go. And you got to be extra careful because the police is in on it with them. The police has always been complicit in neo-Nazis marching up and down the street. And by the way, I believe they said like a week later or two after the neo-Nazis were ran off, the KKK showed up. And once again, the police provided protection. Yeah. See, the police is always there to protect these militant groups, as long as these militant groups are aiming their frustrations at other groups. Unless it's the police directly, they ain't really tripping. They're not tripping at all. In fact, sometimes they don't even trip when it's the police because a lot of members of the police department are part of the neo-Nazis and the KKK. That's right, I said it. A lot of them are card-carrying members, and that's the only reason why the KKK is still around. That's the only reason why the neo-Nazis are allowed to walk up and down the street. And the only reason why they cover their faces, because a lot of them are members of the community, so-called polite society. Many of them are members of law enforcement. Many of them are members of the clergy, members of healthcare industry. They're educators. Yeah, business owners. Boy, you'd be surprised who's behind those sheets. You'd be surprised. That's why it's so persistent. That's why it's so pervasive. It is because people that are in the so-called pillars of society are members of those groups. And if they're not a direct member, they got friends and family members who are members. And this is why they handle them with kids' gloves. Ain't no way possible neo-Nazis are supposed to be walking up and down a street anywhere in America. Anywhere. That ain't supposed to be happening. But they've infiltrated law enforcement so they can get away with these type of things. I'll tell you straight up, they better be glad I'm not like FBI director or something. I shut that shit. I shut it down. KKK, shut it down. You got to change your name to LLL. That's right. I shut you down. Shut it down like that. Every single chapter. Shut it down. But, I would be met with a lot of resistance because there are members of Congress who support these groups. There are members of Congress who have been members of these groups. Yeah, man. That is the only reason why they're allowed to do what they do. So the people that are in Lincoln Heights and surrounding areas, and even outside of that, because Lincoln Heights ain't the only ones going through this type of stuff. Y'all just got to make sure that y'all are proactive and y'all stay a unit and make sure if it go down for real. Like, don't play with them. Because, I heard a news reporter ask one of the people that was, protecting the neighborhood, well, do you think that you guys showing up with this force will make it worse? Since when has protecting yourself made it worse on you? They're more concerned with a black person who tries to defend themselves than they are with a person who tries to attack a black person. Yeah. It's a cold game, man. It's a cold game. And those youngsters out there, they don't know what's going on. These kids are just trying to live. They're going to school. They're playing in their neighborhood. They're in the car with their parents and they're riding down the street and they see these uncivilized mutts hurling insults and racial epithets at them. You would think this is the 1960s, but it's not. We're in the 2025. This is 2025. And it's still going on. And that is because it is rooted in the fabric of America. Yeah. That is because your politicians, your local, state, and federal politicians, they're the reason why it's still going on. Because they could do something to stop it like that. They could do it, but they're not going to do it because they're part of the problem. They're not going to do it because the KKK and those neo-Nazis are their goons. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.